Going viral, like I said earlier, does not equal sales. It doesn't mean you're paying your mortgage. It means you went viral, period, full stop.
I think a lot of people forget the importance of this particular detail. Welcome back to the Funhouse. This is episode 80 of Envisioning Success, and we're going to be talking about how most of what you're measuring doesn't matter. Wah, wah. She's got this look on her face. For anyone listening in audio, she's like, I love this one because
I'm so excited about this one.
I have dirt for you. So yeah. For real. I'm so excited about this. So I'm just gonna, honestly, Julia, in rare form, I'm gonna let you take all 5 points and I'm gonna jump in periodically. No. I know how badly you want to tell this story because you just don't mention any names. Nobody gets run over today. But I'm just gonna tee this off for you, right?
Great.
Here's what we have in the notes. Page views, likes, and impressions. They look nice in reports, but they don't move money. And this episode digs into why most business owners are tracking the wrong stuff. What to focus on instead. Julia, take it away. Tell them what they've won.
Oh, God. Okay. So if you know me, you know that I nerd out hardcore on data. And so I love looking at the data. Earlier today, I was looking at the data for our marketing. Literally one of my favorite things to do is to look at data and figure out next steps based on the data. You've probably heard me say this before. I will continue to say it. Data is where the juice is. However, as we've been talking about in a lot of episodes recently, there are vanity metrics and then there's real metrics that matter. Last episode we talked about, or actually 2 episodes ago, we talked about the high numbers that you're seeing aren't necessarily the things that are convert. When you go viral, that doesn't mean you make money. So what are the metrics you should be looking at? And what are the metrics that just don't matter? And I have stories and I shall withhold the names to protect the guilty. So.
And a lot of this probably, if it reeks of PTSD, there's a reason. Go on.
Yeah. Julia has been traumatized by clients calling and freaking out about metrics that just don't matter. So
and to be fair, it's because they just don't know. But that's, this is why we're here. Is so no matter who you work with, us or somebody else, you will know, and you won't be placing those frantic phone calls. You can have chill, and you can calmly know what you're asking for.
Deep breaths, people. Deep breaths.
Deep cleansing breaths.
I know. Deep cleansing breaths. As always, we have our 5 actionable tips. So, like I was just saying, wait, it dovetails.
Oh, God.
We're going to ditch the vanity metrics. We've said this before. We will continue to say it. Vanity metrics are numbers that you see in your analytics that make you feel good about yourself, and it's likes and it's shares and it's comments and I went viral and it's views, and that's nice, but that didn't convert to money unless you're a professional content creator and that's how you make your money, which I don't think anybody listening is. That is very high in the funnel and doesn't actually make you make money. Going viral, like I said earlier, does not equal sales. It doesn't mean you're paying your mortgage. It means you went viral, period, full stop. So unless a metric ties to revenue or retention or referrals, it is a distraction. Full stop. Full stop on that. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, my favorite one is CTC, cost to conversion.
Okay.
Love that. Sexy metric right there. That, to me, that's the one that matters. It's like, what was my acquisition cost?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I got a customer. Cool.
Yep.
How? Facebook ads. Great. What was the path?
Yep.
So, and did they hear about you multiple times? Some of it will be incalculable because, the times that they heard about you prior. But if your customer value is $10,000 and it costs you $500 in advertising to get that, you're winning. If it costs you $6,000 to get that, you could potentially still be winning depending on your profit margins and what you plan to sell them later. Um, People tend to freak out when they think about really high cost of acquisition per customer because they're losing the plot. They're not focusing on what you're going to sell them later, what the lifetime value of the customer is. Like for us, a lifetime value of a client is very high because they tend to stick around for 10 plus years, each one of them.
Correct.
So even if we have a huge acquisition cost and we're taking a bit of a loss the first year, this sucks initially, but it works out long term.
Right. And that's one of the things that most people, especially service providers, don't think about is
Right.
if you are doing your job well and correct, that client should stay with you for years and years and years. So you need to be playing the long game, not the short game, not, I spent $5 here and $7 here. It's what is your profit margin versus what you're spending? This is another metric that people never think about. I'm always just thrown for a loop when I talk to very successful business people and they don't know their profit versus income. And
Yep.
it's wild to me.
This tends to be a problem in the cohort of folks who have never reached 7 figures annual sales. No offense to anybody in that group,
No.
but it's, you haven't been able to successfully demonstrate your mastery of business as evidenced by your scorecard, which is your bank account. So there are more likelihoods of making uh misunderstandings like that on a fairly frequent basis. It happens above that mark, to be clear.
Mhm.
The one who gave Julia all the therapy bills was in excess of that figure. And but this is the thing that you learn as you grow. And ultimately, the thing that probably changes most people around is he who can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. It's not, and this is the small business thinking that we work so hard to try to squash. It's not he who acquires any business at the cheapest price wins. No, that is not a victory. Because your competitors who are doing well, they can outspend you and they're getting the customers and you're not.
Mhm. Mhm. On the other side of this is you also want to get rid of metrics that don't matter. And this is where I'm going to tell a little story. We had a client
Hold on,
a
let me get
long
my popcorn.
Yep, yep. Pull up, everyone, boys and girls. Come on in, lean close for Julia shit talking without using names. We had a client a long time ago who was obsessed. I mean, daily phone calls, obsessed, and I'm not exaggerating about his bounce rate. If a bounce rate is how long people spend on your website and how quickly they leave it, right? So, like, they get to your website and then they leave your website. He didn't care about his conversion rate, which is actually the thing that matters. Conversion rates are, did the person take the action on your website that you want them to take?
Right.
Schedule the call, fill out the form, buy the jeans, whatever it is that the purpose of your website is to get them to do. He didn't care about that. He cared about the bounce rate as if that was going to tell him magically if he was going to have clients or if he was going to not have clients or how much money was going to come in. And we had tried to explain to him a million times. It could be from bots. It could be from hackers trying to hack the site and weren't successful. It could be somebody who got to the website incorrectly and they didn't mean to be there. It could be from testing. It could be a million reasons. None of those reasons matter except for, are you doing conversions? Are you making sales? Are we reaching that ideal client? He didn't want to talk about any of that. He only ever wanted to talk about bounce rate. And now we have like internal PTSD, me and the person who worked on this account about the bounce rate, to the point, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, that we have simplified our reporting to not include bounce rate because it's a meaningless thing for most people and it doesn't matter unless you're trying to only see, like, are people staying on the website, and that's the metric that you're looking to move forward with.
Mhm. Yeah, and to be clear, there's a reason why bounce rate is there. It is a useful
Sure.
piece of information, but in the hierarchy of pieces of information, it's at the bottom.
Hmm.
Oh, this
And most people can't analyze it unless they are an like director or up leveled marketer. Unless you have been doing this for decades and this is all you do not understand what bounce rate is. And that's okay. You don't need to. That's
right.
why you have us. Let us give you the information that matters. But really, it's showing a lack of trust, and that's the bigger issue.
Yeah. And that's where the PTSD came from. Now, to be clear, nice guy, great client, long time. He retired. It's all good. He gave us a hard time, and it's like, we love you. And when he retired, okay. But it's like, that was very, very difficult because despite all of our efforts, like this is the metric that matters.
Mhm.
And trying to educate, it just didn't really get anywhere, and it was a lot of frustration for nothing. And so I'm working on some acquisitions, and I'm trying to grow our agency by acquisition and do some other neat stuff. And you know it's amazing to me how many times I get complimented on my quality of questions because I don't ask bullshit questions. Someone was complaining to me recently about how they had someone asking them for really insane metrics from like 10 years ago, and in the agency world that's not really a relevant metric,
No.
not even remotely. That's like it's a relic is what it is. So when we think about what's truly relevant, I'm asking questions about what matters, and I'm also trying to do research to make sure listening to shows like this that help me to ask better questions. So, you know, children gathered around the campfire, make sure that you ask good questions and you are going to get much better answers that will help you make much better decisions.
And also take the advice of the experts that you have brought on rather than thinking you know better than them.
Mm-hmm.
Just, yeah. Okay, number 2 is to track funnel drop off. This is true with not just funnels, but with kind of any stage in the marketing and sales process. Where are you losing people? Why are people leaving? Is there a pattern that you can see where people are in the funnel of marketing or in the sales funnel or um, in the onboarding funnel, in the contracting funnel, whatever portion of the experience they're in? If there's a trend where people are dropping off, you need to know why and where your leads are bailing and to fix it. So if you are very reliant on social media for your marketing and it drives to your website and you cannot for the life of you figure out why the current campaign you're running with a 25% off coupon code for the sweaters isn't working, you need to figure it out. Is it that the link is wrong? Is it that the form doesn't work? Is it that your customer service sucks? Is it that you have bad reviews online and you don't know it? What is going on that is causing the problem? And you need, otherwise, if you don't fix that, you're going to have some serious problems. Anything you'd like to add?
No.
Great. Go right on into number 3. Number 3 is to, and this dovetails perfectly with number 2, to follow the buyer's journey. So, we talk about journey mapping, we talk about the user experience, we talk about UI, UX. There's lots of terminology that's thrown around, but really what you need to be thinking about is that ideal client that we always stress you to think about, to be in their heads, to speak to directly. Think about all the steps they take to get to where they buy the thing from you. How do they learn about you? How old are they? Where are they? What platform are they learning about it on? How many other times did they hear about it? Was it referral based? Was it social media? Like, what happened? And then how many times did they have to hear about you? How many times did they have to hear from you? What pieces of marketing worked? What pieces didn't? Did they open half the emails and not the other half? Is it that they Googled you and we actually just had a lead reach out to us? This is my new favorite thing, is that they did research using ChatGPT and ChatGPT told them to reach out to us. And that was
Love that
part
with
of,
my whole self.
I know, me too. And so that was part of their user experience. And that was part of their journey. They went to our website. They really liked our website. They found it incredibly knowledgeable and helpful. So they reached out. We had a great phone call. We had a video meeting, etc. I've sent them resources. So there's a long journey there. And that's all part of the things you want to be mapping and figuring it out. Like if that doesn't sell, I need to figure out what happened. It could be a pricing issue. It could be like a mismatch on culture. It could be lots of things, but it also could be like our emails are going to spam and we need to fix that.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of following the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be able to track some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it you won't be able to track. Once you get into conversations with people, there are ways for you to get the information from them verbally.
Yep.
Through nice conversations. You can even actually casually get a lot of that information from just the selling process, or after they become a client. Um, you know, especially when you make it clear that, hey, this information is very useful and you're helping me quite a bit. Just that one statement makes people more excited to dig back through their mental files to find the information for you so you can fill in the gaps. Do not be afraid to ask.
Yeah. One of the things I did recently is I had one of our team members update the form on our website where people are reaching out to schedule a meeting. And it has a required section now that says, "How did you hear about us?" And it is such helpful information. They have been a newsletter subscriber for a year and now they're ready to pull the trigger. They heard us on the podcast. They heard me speak at a conference, the Chat GPT thing I just mentioned. That piece of information, that knowledge is so essential. And every time I talk to one of our clients or prospective client, I always ask, are you asking people how they found you? That doesn't mean they didn't see you in other places. That doesn't mean they didn't hear about you in other places. That doesn't mean your marketing isn't working, but what got them to pull the trigger? So that's a very important piece of information that you could be collecting. And I really recommend that you should be collecting. Number 4, measure lead quality, not just quantity. So this is where quality is more important than quantity. So you could get 150 leads, but if none of them are even close to your ideal client, then what does it matter? Because either you're going to be selling the wrong thing to the wrong person and not making the profit margin you want to be making, or you're going to hate all your clients. What does it matter if you have 100 leads, but they all ghost you versus one lead that converts and you make a lot of money off of? So this goes back to the first point we talked about today in terms of ditching the vanity metrics. Are you reaching the right people versus just reaching anybody, anywhere at all? So that
Mhm.
is incredibly important. I know you have something you probably want to add.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forget the importance of this particular detail,
Yeah, 100%.
like all the time. And, in the beginning of an advertising campaign, you're actually going to be getting volume. Just going to get a lot of whatever. And that's typical. Of course, no marketer will tell you that except for us, right? It's not all going to be super laser targeted. That actually happens over time. And that happens through the refinement process, which again, people don't want to tell you about, but it's there. So the first ads that go out, they probably won't convert super well, yada, yada. Then, things will go on a little further. Then they'll start to convert better. And then you'll see the anybody's and everybody's showing up. But then you need to refine even further so you can not only have high conversions, but have high correct conversions. And, this is where having a nice relationship with your marketer is really important. So that's when you can be like, hey, these ones were really good. These ones weren't. These were just tire kickers, or they didn't have enough money, or they don't understand what we do. And depending on why they weren't a good fit, that would determine what your partner needs to do about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Number 5, simplify reporting. I mentioned this earlier, but really you just need to create one dashboard, one report, one page, etc., that has what you actually use to make decisions versus trying to wade through bounce rate. what are the things that are important to you? And this is, again, where working with a professional marketer like an agency like Vision can be really helpful, because we understand that most of the time you don't care about bounce rate. It doesn't mean what you think it means. So what are we actually going to present to you? And we can also analyze the data and say, here's what we're seeing in the data. Here's what it means. For example, I looked at our monthly reporting for our marketing and our platform and our website and our social media this morning. And I did a deep dive into it. And I sent a 1 sentence email out to the leadership team. And I said, TLDR, we're getting a lot of leads from Facebook, because that's the only thing we needed to distill down from 5 pages of data was, okay, that's the thing we need to know this month, is that that's where a lot of the conversions came from, was Facebook, which is unusual for us, but that's okay. That's great. What did we do well over there? So it's, I don't need Laura spending 20 minutes digging into a 5-page report. It doesn't matter. She wants the bottom line. I like to look at the data. We got to the bottom line. There we go. That's very simplified reporting. But you could be doing something similar where you're only looking at certain metrics.
Yep. Big fan. I can tell you this right now. Business owners do not like slogging through big, long, fat reports.
No,
You don't.
no.
And honestly, that's why, that former client of ours was so obsessed with bounce rates. It's because it was something he thought he knew. And he
Right.
didn't want to spend the time digging through a report. So he focused on something he thought he understood because it made sense to him. Because he, like every other business owner, doesn't want to dig deep in a report. I don't. You don't. So simplifying, oh my God, that's my favorite.
Huge. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
bottom line up front, the bluff.
The bluff, if you will.
Yes. That
Uh-huh.
was awesome. Thank you, Julia.
No problem. That's what I'm here for, the nerdy stuff.
So on that lovely note, I'm excited to see what we're going to be doing for you in episode 81. And 80 episodes, Julia. Look how far we've come. Aw, sniff.
Good job.
Yeah, we rock. So you rock too. Thank you for listening. It's so great that you're here. And, whenever you want to know about marketing, if you don't want to ask us, you can go back through the archives, or if you're feeling more gregarious, you can reach out to our website and shoot us a note. Let us know how we can help you, serve you. We don't do heavy pitches and we don't pressure people because that's just gross. We like to help. That's it. So if you ever need some support, you just reach out, vision-advertising.com. And happy 25th anniversary to us. Ta-da! Sound effect here. Pew!
Pew, pew.
On that note, have a beautiful day and we'll see you again.